Hi, this is Jesse Liberty from jesseliberty.com, and this course is C# 6 from scratch. C# 6 is the latest version of C#, and this module is the introduction to our course. In order to take this course, you need not have any experience with programming. Of course, experience will help, but we do teach C# 6 from scratch. We make no assumptions about prior programming experience. All you'll need to take the course is a PC running Windows 8 or 10 or a Mac running OS 10. In addition, you're going to need to have a C# compiler installed on your computer. That can be any version of Visual Studio for Windows or Xamarin Studio for the Mac. Here's a link to where you can get a copy of Visual Studio for Windows. And here's a link to where you can get Xamarin Studio. Let's talk about what we're going to cover in this course. We have 14 modules. The first one is this introduction. In the second module, we dive into C#, get our feet wet with our first C# program. In Module 3, we talk about conditionals and looping statements, and of course we'll explain what those are and how to use them. We then go on to the heart of C#, creating types and classes. And in Module 5, we talk about working with class members. Module 6 is where we begin discussing programming with objects, and that may be the central module for the entire course. Module 7, we take a short diversion into talking about exceptions and exception handling. Then in Module 8, we're going to discuss collections and working with collections. In Module 9, we're going to dive into interfaces and abstract classes. These are somewhat advanced topics in C#, and that's complemented by Module 10, where we will discuss advanced statements that make your programming easier and more concise. In Module 11, we move on to asynchronous C#, which is the ability to have your program doing more than one thing at a time. We then go on to discuss events and delegates. These are central to GUI applications, the type of applications you're used to using on your desktop, on the web, and on your phone. Module 13, we talk about the very powerful link infrastructure that makes querying against data that's in memory or on disk or in a database much easier. And finally, in Module 14, we will review. Let's talk a bit about the approach in this course. And the first thing to know is that we're going to take things step by step. And I'm going to try very hard to introduce every concept before using it so that we have very few forward references. We're then going to find that as we're working our way through the course, some concepts will come up organically, and we will discuss those as we find them. Everything will be illustrated with a great many small examples. The idea of these examples is to focus in clearly on the one thing we're trying to understand. But along the way, I am going to be introducing best practices so that you start off writing things correctly and in a way that makes them easy to understand and to maintain. When you have a question, the first place to look is the compiler. We're going to discuss how the compiler works, but the idea is to ask Visual Studio or Xamarin Studio whether the thing you have in mind works. That's usually the best way to get a fast answer. There are lots of other ways to get answers, and we'll discuss those as we go. A very important idea of this course is to take your time. Stop the video as necessary. Make sure your understanding is solid before moving on, and by all means enjoy yourself as you take this course.